What's your favorite place to spend time in Vista?
Moonlight Amphitheater.
Oh!
That's my favorite place to spend time in the entire district.
I
love Moonlight Amphitheater.
We can put that on a reel and replay it all the time. What's the best place for you to hang out in the district?
Moonlight Amphitheater.
Yes! All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Councilman's Corner with Councilmember Joe Green here in Vista. I have a super special episode for you today because today I am joined by our very own Senator of the 38th District, Mrs. Catherine Blakespear. Yay! Confetti, fireworks, boom! Hello, Catherine. How are you?
So excited to be here with you today.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me here. Now, before we get started, I know you, but a lot of my viewers might not know you and know much about you. So I went ahead and did a little bit of research so I could let everybody know who is Senator Catherine Blakespear. Here we go. All right. So Catherine Blakespear serves as our senator for the 38th District, which represents North San Diego County, that's Vista, and also Southern Orange County. She was elected as our senator in 2022. Catherine is a local girl who graduated from Torrey Pines High School. What's your mascot there?
Falcon.
Go Falcons! Anyways, she then furthered her education at the Northwestern University Medill School of Journalism. Did I say that right? And you received your master's of the science in journalism? So there's a science to journalism? That's going to be on our next episode, the science behind journalism with Senator Blakespear. She also obtained her JD from the University of Utah. Now, Catherine has been married to her spectacular husband, Jeremy, for, is it 15 years?
Yeah, about, yes.
Dang.
Yeah.
And I only say spectacular because I've met Jeremy and he is pretty freaking spectacular, okay? She also has 2 phenomenal children, 1 boy, 1 girl, Oliver and Ava. Is that correct?
Full teenagers who don't drive yet.
Ah, gosh, the days of teenagers who don't drive. Do they spend a lot of times in their room right now?
Yes, but they also have e-bikes.
That's okay. So they're not rolling around safely, of course, right?
Yes.
Nice. Well, Catherine lives in Encinitas, but she's definitely shown that she loves all things Vista. She's been a great advocate for our community, for all of our surrounding cities, and I'm super excited that she serves as our senator. She has an open door policy. She's easy to get a hold of, active on social media, and just always out there doing things. So we're really glad. You represent almost 1 million citizens. Is that correct?
That's right.
Wow, working hard. So everything you say carries weight, Miss Senator. So I'm super excited that you're here. Well, was there anything that I missed as far as your, hype man for Miss Senator today that you would like to add?
Well, the only other thing is that I served as the mayor of the city of Encinitas for 6 years.
There you go.
And was in local government for a total of 8 years, 2 on city council and 6 as mayor.
Awesome. And I believe that you also chaired a whole bunch of boards. And I know I got to work with you on our Regional Solid Waste Association, where we talked about SB 1383. Look it up. Super fun. Cool.
We also did a tour of the waste facility with EDCO.
That we did.
And we took selfies of ourselves with all the recycling behind us.
That is correct.
It was very impressive and fun.
We helped implement an anaerobic digester for our actual county. And for those of you that don't know, I get a little goofy when I talk about trash. We both worked on it really hard. They actually take your organic waste at EDCO and Escondido, and they transition it through their anaerobic digester into renewable natural gas that they run their trucks on. So it's a super huge thing.
And then there's activated sludge that comes out at the end, and that gets put on the farms to grow our crops.
Zero waste. We're trying to be a zero waste community eventually, right? So I know you're real big on the climate, so you're going to tell me everything you've done about it. So, one thing that I didn't see on that list, aside from being an amazing mom, is what do you do? Do you have time for hobbies? Anything for fun?
Well, I do exercise a bit. So I like to do all sorts of things. I practiced for the soccer team in Sacramento when there was a legislative soccer team. It was North versus South.
Nice.
They used to do Republicans versus Democrats, but then there were too many Democrats, and so there weren't enough Republicans to actually have a team. Okay. So they changed it to North versus South. You know what? And it's better
for team building anyways. You're working with them, may as well be on a team with them, you know?
Exactly. I like to go outside and go to the beach and the ocean and the mountains and I like to be with my kids.
Okay.
And my husband.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And what are the kids into these days? I mean, teenage kids that don't drive, do they play sports? Are they?
They do. Our son, Oliver, is into soccer and playing the guitar.
Okay.
And our daughter, Ava, is into water polo and school and her friends.
Oh, nice.
Lots of into the friends.
Good. So you and Jeremy are glorified Uber drivers that don't get paid, actually. You're pro bono Uber drivers in your spare time.
That's right. But our daughter turns 16 on August 21st.
Okay.
So it's very soon.
Okay.
And she will start driving within a month of that.
Nice.
So that'll be great.
Good. So she's actually one of those prepared children that when they actually turn 16, they get their license.
Yes.
So my son got his license a week after his 16th birthday. You know, it's kind of sad because I used to go to 4 different schools. I have 4 kids. And, you know, I'd go to elementary schools and middle schools and high schools. And now sometimes I wake up and he's gone. I'm like, where'd you go? But it is a blessing, you know, not having to be the Uber driver. So
I know. It's the stages of life.
Exactly. Well, that's another super thing for Jeremy because you spend a lot of time in Sacramento. So I can only imagine how much carpooling juggling Jeremy has to do. So we're going to make a special proclamation for him sometime over the next couple of years for awesome pops, Jeremy. All right. Well, I know that you're only 7 months into your new job, but is there anything that surprised you when you actually got up to Sacramento? Something that you weren't prepared for, although I know you're uber prepared for everything.
Well, it is surprising to me that there's not a lot of group decision making happening.
Really?
So bills have one author. And even though they have a lot of co-authors, there's one author, there's one person who's the one responsible for generating the support, for deciding whether amendments are taken.
Wow.
And I guess I expected there would be more times where we're sitting around brainstorming about the big solutions to big problems.
Yeah.
Like climate change or homelessness, or any number of different things that we could be talking about. But really, it is in many ways very unilateral.
Okay.
So whoever is the chair of a committee or whoever has a bill on a certain topic, you know, we each have our own staff. So you work with your staff, and then everybody is collaborative and smart and accomplished. So it's a high level, a high caliber, I would say, and particularly of professionalism.
Yeah.
In local government, I think can be a lot of emotionality.
Of course, yeah.
But in Sacramento, there's just a lot less of that. There's more of it is a professionalized group, whether lobbyists or nonprofits or staff members or committee consultants who are working on things.
Wow. So it's a lot different than local government where you would get your, you know, Brown Act buddy together and kind of talk about it and go out into the community and then, you know, kind of sell it at the council meeting per se. Now there's a whole room full of legislators that you're just up there.
Yeah, and there are 40 state senators and then 80 assembly members.
Oh,
so
wow.
instead of having 4 colleagues like we have on city council, you know, I have 119 colleagues.
Oh my goodness.
In some ways, that's an unworkably large number. That's why you have a committee system.
Okay.
So, and we didn't have that in the city of Encinitas, really a committee system. So it's quite different.
Yeah,
the job is very different.
Well, I know that even up there and it being a lot different, you've been able to get a ton done, which is something that we're super excited about here in Vista. So I'm going to get into everything that you've done for us, or at least the big things that I know that are just, you know, shining in my head. But the one thing I wanted to know, and a lot of people don't understand, is when you say that you want to get elected to an office, I mean, you're a mom, you know, a wife, you got a family, you got stuff to do down here. What exactly is the job of a senator? You know, as opposed to just getting up and giving speeches per se, what does your week typically look like?
Well, so I fly to Sacramento on Monday and I fly home on Thursday. So 4 days a week I'm in Sacramento. And I see the job as being really twofold. It's to work on legislation that is statewide. So for the 40 million people who live in California.
Okay.
And then it's also to represent the constituents in my district, to bring money and projects back to the district, to champion the things my district cares about.
Yes.
And to elevate that voice in Sacramento to compete against all the other voices. Because someone who represents agriculture in the Central Valley, that's a very different community than this community in Southern California.
Yeah, no doubt.
So always making sure that what I'm doing is representative of the people who sent me there. That's critically important.
Wow.
Yeah, but I would say that it's very interesting and it's very busy in Sacramento. And then when I come back to the district, it's also interesting and busy because there are so many different communities. I have 10 cities and then 2 counties that I represent.
Wow.
and I'm only here for 3 days a week.
I want to see you like this.
Exactly. So making the time to do it, but then also prioritizing, and of course utilizing my staff effectively so they're ambassadors for my office. That's really important, and we do that.
You do, and I know you have a Fernando that's in my neck of the woods, and he's always smiling and working hard and presenting proclamations at all of our grand openings.
He's fantastic.
He's so involved. So thank you so much for sending him down there.
Yes.
What type of staff do you have that work with you? Because I know your demanding schedule, like you can't just call Catherine and be like, I'm ready. So who actually works for you on staff?
Well, so I have 3 different offices. I have one in Sacramento, and that's the legislative staff. So my chief of staff is up there, and then the legislative director and legislative aides who are working on the actual legislation.
Okay.
And then I have 2 district offices. So one in Encinitas and then one in Laguna Hills in Orange County. So the 38th Senate District is 1/3 of the residents live in Orange County.
Okay.
So that's about an hour and 15 minutes from my home to that office, depending on traffic. So we have a staff up there who represents me and is from Orange County and really knows those communities, those staffers. And then I have district reps and staffers here in Encinitas who represent this county, San Diego County.
Wow.
And so they go all over. And the way we've organized it is like Fernando's responsibilities are Vista and Oceanside. So he really gets to know everybody in those communities.
And he's done a great job.
Yeah, he does. He's a great, really fantastic representative. And he also oversees the internship program.
Oh, wow.
And we receive a lot of email, as you can imagine, and he's really good with the system, the LCMS system, which is how are people making complaints, or how are they communicating when they say they need help with a government agency like the DMV. He's fielding a lot of those things. He's very sophisticated in those ways.
Oh, nice.
So people have different areas where they're specializing, and that's how we effectively cover the whole county, both counties.
So it doesn't sound like you get a day off. I mean, if I'm just thinking about it, because you're Monday through Thursday in Sacramento, and then you come down here Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you go back Monday through Thursday. And I would assume that, Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays, your days are pretty packed. Do you actually say, hey, I'm spending this day with my family? Have you been able to earmark one of those yet? Or?
Well, yes. And because I've actually won 5 elections since I've been in office, I ran for the first time in 2014. So 2014, 16, 18, 20, and 22.
Jeez.
So I've been through the cycles of both governing and campaigning.
Yes.
And I do impose some boundaries around myself so that I can be with my family, because it's important to be a whole person. And I try to establish that culture for my employees, too. I want them to take vacations. I want them to do the things that nourish them.
Yes.
You can't just always be running at 100 miles an hour, because your battery gets depleted.
Exactly.
And then you're not enjoying it. You're not doing as good a job. And also it's just not the life I think that people want. So I do try to walk the talk around that, but also do everything I can to show up for my community, because it's really important.
Yeah. Well, you have a very normal family, and they're very approachable. They speak very well. So you've done a fantastic job in the midst of juggling all of the elections and all your elected, positions. As a father of 4, and I have 2 grandkids as well, I run a bunch of businesses and do a lot of things. It's something that's real important to me too, because it's what fills my soul up, and it's what really motivates me to go out there and make sure, I'm representing constituents, but I'm representing my family as well. And more than anything, when I get home, I want them to be proud of me and be like, hey, that's my dad. Just like your kids are like, look, that's mom up there. So, and how long is your term? Like, is there?
It's 4 years.
And are there term limits up there?
There are. So it's a total 12-year period. So I could potentially have 3 terms. 3 times 4. And I hope to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I intend to, if the voters will have me, and I hope to do a good job, and I'm always thinking about how to be the best representative possible.
Perfect. And at the same token, though, we don't have what we used to call, because I know in government we have things called earmarks, where they used to earmark funds for years and years. Now what we've been finding is we're getting funds, and we're actually being able to take action and do things within the term that you're actually elected. Is that something that's changed over the past, or is that?
Yes, it does seem that the pendulum swings a little bit.
Okay.
So they're not calling them earmarks. They call them community investments.
Okay.
And so I was able to advocate for some community investments in Vista here that we got in the budget, which was amazing. It was actually the single largest budget ask on my part, which was for $5 million. And it was for a homeless serving project in Vista, and other cities will also participate in it. And so it's It's interim supportive housing. So what that means is someone who's homeless on the streets could go directly from being on the street to this place, and they would be able to stay there for a certain period of time. So it's not a shelter, it's not congregate living, but it's a shared kitchen and shared bathroom for like 5 rooms that are all connected to that space. And then there's supportive services, so like caseworkers who come and help people to get back on their feet and to find the next place they're going to live. So I'm really excited that that was in the budget. Homelessness is a top problem in the state. It's a problem in Vista and everywhere. And I'm really devoted to working on it.
Yeah. Well, I can't tell you how excited we are. And it, one of the big, I don't know what you call them, the things why the unsheltered population doesn't want to go into the shelters has to do with the congregate living and the ability to not really have your own space. And a lot of people just want their own space, their own door, their own place to, kind of gather their thoughts and, turn their lives around. And this new non-congregate living, that you've provided in our city is just a fantastic resource that we have that we didn't have before. And people who were turning down shelters before and turning down housing before are now actually going to be accepting the housing because it's within our city and they actually see a path to being sheltered by being in something like this. So, I was speaking with my city manager. I said, hey, we have the senator coming in. Is there anything that we need to talk to her about when I get her in front of us? Right? He said, man, our senator has been amazing. The fact that she's been able to get so many resources for us. And he mentioned the number $5 million, $5 million, flash $5 million. That's a lot of dollars. And to have, you've been on this job for 7 months. You're working with over 100 and some odd colleagues that all have these, big agendas and some have egos and they're all trying to get things done. And for you to be able to get up there in the first 7 months, bring $5 million to the city of Vista, slow clap for you, okay? And we're one of the only cities in the county that has what's called a strategic plan to address homelessness. And it's a multifaceted plan where we have different social workers in different types of housing, whether it be congregate and in different cities, but we did not have this before. So it makes us look good, it makes you look amazing, and more than anything, it serves the community in a way that we were not able to serve them before.
Right, it will help people.
Yeah.
It's people who need it. And it's something that doesn't exist yet. And just so all of your viewers know,
please,
it's not built yet. So the money has been allocated in the state budget, and I just recently went out and toured it with some of your colleagues as well. City Council member Melendez and O'Donnell, as well as your mayor, were there. And it was really great to get to see it and get a sense of exactly where it was going to be and how it was going to look. And so I'm really excited about it. I hope to be there at the ribbon cutting as well.
Yes.
And it is a really important community investment.
Yeah, no, we are beyond excited. So, having somebody actually advocate for us and actually come through and bring funds to us for, specific projects is amazing. And as an elected, it's really made me realize that, hey, we need to come up with more projects that are like shovel ready for our representatives so that when you're up there advocating, you can say, hey, there's a property right here that can serve this many people right now. Bring the money to Vista.
Right.
And I always say Vista because I love Vista, but whatever city you're representing, and I know that you're doing well for all of them. So I want to make sure they knew about that. Now, in addition to bringing new innovative ways to help our unsheltered population, what are some other things you're working on up in Sacramento right now? What can we expect from you in the future?
Well, I'm interested in gun violence prevention, so gun safety issues. And I had a bill that would have required everybody who owns a firearm to have an insurance policy so that if somebody's gun accidentally kills or injures someone, that person would be made whole. If you think about how we manage risk in this country, insurance is the way we manage it. So from the smallest thing like your trip and your airline ticket to your life, we have an insurance policy to cover those things. But strangely, when it comes to guns, we don't actually have insurance products that are specifically for that. So that did not make it through the insurance committee. The insurance industry was opposed, strangely, because, and I was invited to speak at a conference and they called the panel, Gun Insurance, Is It Time? And they invited me to speak, and I invited them to see this as a market. This is different, guns have different capacity for damage, and you could charge higher prices for different types. And so it really is a market, but it's not evolved enough yet to be something that would be a requirement. But if you think about, like, you can't get a license to drive a car without having a car insurance policy. But guns have surpassed cars as the number one killer of youth. And so having an insurance policy as part of gun ownership seemed to make a lot of sense to me. But that's something I'll probably be working on for several years. I'm also interested in environmental commitments. One of the things that's been disappointing, actually, is that the state legislature has not been walking the talk when it comes to this. So when I got up there in all of these different events, they're distributing plastic water bottles from this. Yes.
Okay.
Crazy. Single-use plastic everywhere.
So they send us these laws down here, and are like, you better do it, but here's a plastic. Okay, good.
And we're asking constituents to make changes, and we're talking about what kind of cars people can drive and trying to wean off oil and gas. And we have these climate targets. And so we should be walking the talk in Sacramento. So one of my bills that I'm going to introduce next year will have to do with making the state legislature operationally zero waste.
Good.
So we'll see if that's possible or if it could happen. I did complain about this internally, and luckily now the distribution is all of water in cans, not in single-use plastic, which is more recyclable.
Yes, for sure.
The very, very little plastic is actually recycled, especially plastic water bottles. We know they're all over the ocean and everywhere else, in everything we eat. And so environmental things are really important to me, and I expect to work on that issue as well. Nice. And then homelessness in general. So I also had a bill which would have required every city to plan homeless serving housing according to its point-in-time count number.
Okay.
And so that the point-in-time count is how we assess how many people are actually living unsheltered on streets, our city streets.
And it happens annually in every city, correct?
Exactly. Okay. But that bill did not make it through all the way through either because it had too high of a price tag. So basically a city can't fund this out of their general fund.
Exactly.
Like Vista couldn't just provide this because you don't have money to do it. So the state would need to give cities money to be able to provide homeless serving housing. And the price tag of that was just too big for this year's budget.
Yeah. Bottom line is money, right? Where are we going to be able to get the money from? But what you got to do is keep fighting for what you believe in and keep doing what you can do, because eventually money comes down and we get to actually make a difference within communities. So I really appreciate your persistence and your hard work. We made a lot of progress for our community just in the trash realm. I mean, the things people don't think about is, where does your trash go at the end of the day? And just the transition over the, 6 years on that board was huge. So I'm looking forward to everything that you're doing up there. Now, before I let you run out of here, I like to just get to know you a little bit more. Okay. So I like to ask some questions super fast, just so that everybody knows what you're up to. And they're not that many questions, but just without thinking, what are the answers? Okay. Number one, what's your favorite food?
Kale salad.
Kale salad? Wow, I would have had to think about that one too. Okay.
I'm a really good kale salad maker.
Oh, are you?
I am.
You bet. You know what?
It's like I can hit it out of the park on kale salad.
I don't want to say I'm not a fan of kale salad per se, but I look forward to trying your favorite food someday. Great. Favorite movie?
Oh, I don't have. How about Hamilton?
Hamilton. Okay, so you like the play. I like it. It's good. And it was in a movie too. Okay. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. You knew that. Favorite restaurant? There's so many, and you got to be politically correct as well.
I like Good Anya in Encinitas, which is owned by a woman. It's healthy, organic.
I got to write this down.
Yeah, Good Anya. It's in downtown Encinitas. They really walk the talk when it comes to their environmental commitments.
Okay, I like it. Do they have some vegan dishes there as well?
I don't know. Are you vegan?
I haven't. I'm a meatitarian, actually, but I do have a daughter who's vegan and a wife who's pescatarian. So every time we go places, they can accommodate. All right, Good on you. That's good stuff. What's your favorite place to spend time in Vista?
Moonlight Amphitheater.
Oh,
that's my favorite place to spend time in the entire district. I love Moonlight Amphitheater.
We can put that on a reel and replay it all the time. What's the best place for you to hang out in the district?
Moonlight Amphitheater.
Yes. Now, I actually just saw a picture of you and your husband and your kids and your mom at one of our plays. What did you get to see?
I went to see Tarzan.
And how was it?
And it was amazing. Swinging from the vines. The incredible cast, tremendous dancing, amazing costumes and music. And it's outside in the round. I used to go there as a kid.
Shush.
And we would wait in line in the baking hot sun for a long time because at that point you had to rush in and get the best seat. And it wasn't actually developed, so it was like basically just a hillside.
It was a hill.
And so, but now they've improved it, but there are still parts of it that have that feel, like the parking situation.
Yep.
And I recently went and did a tour there because now that I represent it, I really wanted to see a behind the scenes look at it. And I just love Moonlight Amphitheater. It's amazing.
Nice. Well, I'm sure that Jennifer Bradford and Steve Glaudini are just standing up and just applauding right now, being like, in the whole district, Orange County, let's go. I love the Moonlight. I've actually been taking my wife and my kids there for years, and it really is a Broadway quality playhouse. And if people haven't been, they should go check that place out because it's great.
Well, especially because the Civic Center downtown, that might be closing and we won't actually have traveling Broadway in this county. I mean, so the best place to see Broadway equivalent. I mean, these are the Broadway shows.
Oh, yes, they are.
But they're not the traveling tours that are coming through. They're actually being put on by Moonlight.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, it's really high quality.
It's really great.
Yeah.
And, we have different events with the Moonlight every year that they have donor dinners and just different things where you really get to get closer to the actors. And, the people who've been there, actually the Bradford family grew up in Vista. I've known them pretty much my whole life. They're, brothers and sisters, went to the local schools and things, and it's just so cool to see local people giving back and making a place that is great for everybody to show up.
Well, and one of the things I really loved was when Lin-Manuel Miranda is the one who wrote Hamilton, and so they were doing In the Heights, which was something else he wrote. But the cast of In the Heights did a sing-along to the Hamilton music.
Okay.
So we went to that. This was several years back. But of course, all the teenagers, they're all doing the rap battles, and they're really into it. It was so fun, and they had these little flags for like Team Jefferson, Team Hamilton, all these different. It was so fun, but it's just taking advantage of the creativity of the arts to create more creativity in arts.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's really what they're doing there, and it's just fantastic. You should be so proud as a representative on the city council that you have this in your city.
I'll tell you what, not only am I super proud as a representative of the council, but it's right in my district, right by my house, right around the corner, and I played trumpet my whole life, kind of growing up through middle school and high school, and one of my buddies, Daniel Dorfler, actually leads the percussion ensemble down there at the Moonlight. So every time I go, I get to look at my buddy Daniel and be like, hey, it's so cool. But we have musicians here that actually went to school here who are working here. So in addition to it being a great venue, it provides great jobs and careers for people. And, the actors that we have are big name actors. I want to say the lady who was in Tarzan was like in American Idol or something like that. So my daughters came and watched because they were such fans of her. So anyway, Tangent by Joe Green on Tarzan at the Moonlight. You should pay us for that advertisement. Anyway, one last question I have for you is, how can our community members get a hold of you or your office? So if they want to support you, if they have something they want to complain about, maybe they just want to send lunch for Fernando and the amazing team, or just get any type of information. Is there like an email or a phone number they can reach you at?
Yes. So we love to hear from constituents, and we invite you to call in with anything, especially if you're having a problem with the state agency. Like I said, like the DMV or EDD or anything that's you can't get your nursing license is held up. Whatever the circumstance is, reach out to my office and we can help.
Okay.
And it's unfortunate that we even need to have help, but we know people have problems sometimes with the government,
and it's hard to get a live person on the phone sometimes. Just navigating the automated phone systems can be hectic. So what's the best phone number for them to call you at?
So the best number, and this is for our Encinitas District office, it's 760-642-0809.
642-0809, right there.
That's right. And then you can also email at senator.blakespear@senate.ca.gov. And Blakespear does not have an E at the end like Shakespeare. It's BLAKESPEAR, Blakespear. And my husband and I created our last name. We merged. So I was Catherine Blake. He was Jeremy Spearman.
No
when
way.
we got married, we merged.
That's amazing. I like it. I never heard that before.
I know.
That is a tip of the spear thing to do, which you are in everything you do.
Exactly. To use the spear.
There we go.
And then on Twitter, I'm at SEN Blakespear. And on Instagram, I'm at Senator Blakespear. And on Facebook, I'm at Senator Catherine Blakespear. So you can reach me at any of those different ways.
Awesome. And I can attest that she definitely is extremely communicative. I can get her at any of those social media platforms. She's always replying promptly. So if you need her, she is very, very easily accessible and definitely has an open door policy. Regardless of your partisanship or what your opinion is on any issue, she wants to hear from you. We actually serve on different boards, and from a political political standpoint, might have different letters in front of our names, but when it comes to serving our community and really loving what we do, we are two of the most equally yoked, public officials that I know. So I'm really happy you came here today. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. One thing we do every episode is we like to have giveaways. So we try to get more people to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Instagram and our Twitter and everything. And we actually have a winner of this week's episode. And the winner is going to get this amazing Joe Green flat brim hat. Now, no, in order to win these hats, you have to not only like all these Instagram posts and Facebook that you're liking, but you must subscribe to @JoeGreen760. So our YouTube subscriber this week, drum roll, is...
You're a winner, James Cavalier.
Woo! That's right, buddy. James Cavalier, you are the winner of an amazing Vista hat. Great fabric, Joe Green signature, City of Vista seal, and our amazing senator announced your name. Thank you so much for being here, Senator Blakespear. I really appreciate it. Please tell Oliver and Ava and Jeremy that you had so much fun hanging out with me.
I will. Thank you so much for having me.
And tell them that I love them and appreciate them as well. All right. Thank you so much. Yay. That's a wrap. Make sure you tune in to our next episode of Councilman's Corner. We appreciate you. Like us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We're ready to work for you. Have a great day, team. The city is dedicated to exceptional services, to improving Vista's quality of life, and to enhancing the uniqueness of the Vista community. You no doubt provide exceptional services and are enhancing our quality of life, and together we're doing so much for the uniqueness of the community. So on behalf of the city, our mayor, and everybody, please, official resident reward token.
What an honor! Thank you so
amazing,
much.
Okay?
I love it.
And thank you.
I will live by the values you just shared.